Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to your Monday morning motivational message. By the way, my name's Eddie, and I've got a testimony. All right, today is going to be the first part of the Sermon on the Mount series. Today, we're going to get a little introduction on the Sermon on the Mount, and we're going to cover the Beatitudes today. So, a quick background on the Sermon on the Mount. It was on Mount Beatitude, which is over the Sea of Galilee, and a large crowd gathered around Jesus, a crowd of disciples. And this is probably one of, if not the most famous one of Jesus' sermons of all time. And this whole series on the Sermon on the Mount is, to sum it up, it's how Jesus wants us to live our life. It's how we become more like Jesus every single day. And this is the best example I can give you guys, because lately we've been talking about the good works, and the good works are not what gets you to heaven, but the good works are still very important. And these points on the Sermon on the Mount we're going to cover however long, maybe the next couple months. That is your good works right here. So with any good sermon or good message, you have to start out strong. You can't just be all over the place when you preach. You have to get off the ground and running. So Jesus does that with the Beatitudes. Um, God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for Him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God bless those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the whole earth. God blesses those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. God blesses those who are merciful, for they will be shown mercy. God blesses those whose hearts are pure, for they will see God. God blesses those who work for peace, for they will be called the children of God. God blesses those who are persecuted for doing right, for the kingdom of God, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses you when people mock you and persecute you and lie about you and say all sorts of evil things against you because you are my followers. Be happy about it. Be very glad, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, the ancient prophets were persecuted the same way. So if you're confused about all the things I just said, these are the attitudes, or the Beatitudes, you have to have if you want to be a follower of Jesus. It all starts with your state of mind. You got to get your mind right. So I did a little bit of research, and beatitude just means supreme blessedness. So this is just my personal opinion on the Beatitudes. Beatitudes are like the Psalms that Jesus gives to us. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but the Psalms is an Old Testament book. It's probably the biggest book of the Bible. And King David wrote it, and he is just, all it is just praising God. The Lord is my shepherd. All sorts of famous Psalms are there. If you probably look up a verse about a topic, it's probably going to give you a Psalm. So once you get your mind right, and you have all these attitudes that you should be living by that I just read to you guys, you're going to be going places. Again, it all starts out with that seed, but the soil that you plant your seed in is so important. If you plant it in the wrong seed and you plant it with the wrong attitudes of life, you're not going to grow. But if you have the right soil, and the soil are these attitudes that I just read to you guys, again, I see great things happening to anyone. And one of the best examples I can give you guys is Moses. When God asked him all these things to free the people of Israel and preach to them, what Moses said was, he's not a public speaker. And before, I wasn't a public speaker either. When I was up in high school, I never ever wanted to speak in front of the class. I would answer questions and give stories, but I wouldn't want to read a paper because I just had that fear of public speaking. And now I love making videos for you guys. So it all starts with that attitude that you need for your life. And if I were to analyze every single one of these Beatitudes, we could have a whole series on the Beatitudes. There's just so much you can take out of it. But overall, it's the attitudes to have on life. You could literally spend a whole sermon on all 10 or 12 of the attitudes. It's that good. And before we end the video, I'm just going to read the Beatitudes to you guys once again. I'm going to go a little bit slower this time, just so you can really soak in these attitudes to have on life. God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for Him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the whole earth. God blesses those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. God blesses those who are merciful, for they will be shown mercy. God blesses those whose hearts are pure, for they will see God. God blesses those who work for peace, for they will be called the children of God. God blesses those who are persecuted for doing right, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses you when people mock you and persecute you and lie about you and say all sorts of evil things against you because you are my followers. Be happy about it. Be very glad, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, the ancient prophets were persecuted in the same way. So as a reminder to you guys, if you want to read this in your own time, it's Matthew chapter 5, verses 3 to 12. And it's at verse 13, it starts being salt and light, which is what we're going to cover next week. And I'm sorry for the 3-week break I had. Just some things came up, but next week we will be touching on salt and light. God bless all of you guys. Hope you enjoyed your Monday morning motivational message. I'm glad to be back. Doing well. God bless you and peace.